Good morning. It's Harvey Jackson. Just going to get through some news items here. Weather markets versus war. What I'm going to be paying more attention to is the weather markets in the northern hemisphere, as more and more of that comes in focus as the crops are starting to break more and more dormancy. We're still got snow on the ground over here, and it sounds like we might get a little bit more as well. So, uh, yeah. Anyway, so India with their El Nino is quite important when it comes to the relationship of rainfall that they require because of the monsoons. The monsoons supply like 70% of the water for the growing season. You can see here, yeah, so 70% of the water required, and the relationship of how that monsoon season, uh, along with El Nino forecast, and how it's important, and there is some concern for this upcoming growing season. Malaysia Prime Minister has said on Thursday that the state energy firm Petronas would give priority to providing Australia with access to fuel supplies as the two countries sought to bolster energy security following disruptions caused by the Middle East. And I keep on highlighting energy security. And a lot of their fuel comes from their palm as well, and bio, but just increasing relationships so that they can actually move product back and forth as well. There's some phosphate minerals from Australia that's required for growing crops in Malaysia. Trump says Lebanese and Israeli leaders to speak, try to stop that war so that he can actually have a conversation to end the Israeli-Iran war as well. Sounds like there's been some passage of boats through the Strait of Hormuz, and a lot of that is as long as it's not Iranian. And they've been boarding ships, you name it. They've been doing all kinds of stuff there. And there's, I think to date, there's more ships crossed. And there's also some economic things that they're doing too. If they, they're getting into some of the Iranian funding or bank accounts if it's in Iranian funds for buying product. They're somehow sanctioning that as well. Iranian oil arrives in time in India just in time before some of these sanctions actually hit. And the pressure is on Trump as these higher prices of fuel and higher price groceries and everything is starting to concern him a little bit, especially with the midterms coming up. So over the last 30 days, you can see that this area has been deficient, and you can see this area has been deficient as well of the moisture. And there's some cold that's going to be coming in here. I'll show that in a second here as well. But again, you devoid these two areas of moisture, and you can see it continue. It's constantly happening, but we're getting some moisture in the U.S. or U.S. Canadian border in the prairies. This is just a snowfall for the next 10 days. We'll just play this out. You can see that there's some cold weather in there, and it does creep all the way down to there somewhere. So if there's any damage to winter wheat, it's possible in that timeline, because it doesn't look like it's just short term. It seems to be persisting in some of those areas, so there could be damage to some crops. So just a quick look at the canola market is up 270 at 708.60. The November contract is up 330 at 722. Soybean oil is up as well at 68 cents a pound. Palm oil is up at 4,443 ringgit. Crude oil just fractionally up a third of $1 a barrel at 91.62. So that's been it's way off of some its highs. Same with the diesel fuel at 359 and a half US gallon. Soybean is down 3 cents at 11.64. Spring wheat is up 11 cents at 6.50 on the May, and on the December 6.95. So right in, getting very close to that target to get a little bit of the futures only for the delayed fall delivery. Still looking at $8 plus targets for old crop and new crop. Kansas up 14 and a quarter at 6.39, and corn is basically flat, and Canadian dollar is basically flat as well at 73 cents. So here's the chart. You got your 50-day moving average, and the market has been respecting that and still caught below the 20-day moving average as well. What direction? When you look at this here, you would say it's still going sideways as long as it's below the line here. We're looking for it to cross over to get a buy signal. if we're using slow stochastics. Right now, there is no signal here at all to do anything. Here's your November. Same, there's no signal here at all. But if you look at rapeseed, it's actually going back to it looks like it's going to try to get back to those highs. But I put in a line here, and it looks like it's kind of respects that line. Doesn't want to really go through it either. The price differential for European canola and Canadian canola is $83 or $83.70 differential. I don't think that's going to have a strong pull to Europe. But that said, energy security could pull some product if they require now. With huge crush margins, there's decent crush margins in other parts of the world, so the energy security might just pull that product as well. Soybean oil, just still tracking upwards, but more sideways than anything, just same as canola. Soybeans still respecting the highs there and just basically tracking sideways for a whole month. So when you look at your West Texas, your diesel fuel compared to your soybean oil, and then your canola and soybeans themselves, you can see that there's been still a 55% increase in diesel fuel and 42% increase in West Texas crude oil, with a 13% increase in the soybean oil, but only a 3.5% increase in canola. Here's your crude. It does have a directional movement in that direction right at the moment. Same thing with diesel fuel, but this is the area that I had started talking about buying fuel, and I don't know if you can see those lines, but when we were caught in that range of trade, it was buying at the lows there for sure. Gasoline looks like it's actually starting to move down here as well. Canadian dollar, it's the opposite of crude, it seems, and that's just a counter what we used to be, because we're hand to mouth. We don't have any excess. We can't really sell anymore, so we're maybe caught in the Canadian dollar increasing. And it could be that they're favoring investment over Trump as well, which could be that could be the move there as well. S&P making all-time highs here. Look at wheat here. Nice move up here for sure. Like to see it get above this line, and then we've got a little bit more room. Same thing with the December contract. Kansas, we're back to the highs. If we can close, our body would be higher than these other, just the wicks of the candles. Not quite the same for new crop, but your opposite is happening with the other big complex in Europe. It's actually trending down still. Corn futures, last few days, big moves up. And that could be a fertilizer related. There's probably a whole pile of things that's causing that. We're making all-time highs with the live cattle. Feeder cattle is approaching those all-time highs as well, but not there yet. Lean hog futures making lower highs and lower lows so far since 2026 here.